There you go.
Hi there, good evening everyone. This is Dari on WorldStreams Radio. Thank you to our listeners from all over the world for joining us tonight. To learn more about WorldStreams Radio, visit our website, worldstreams.org. You can also now find us on Facebook at facebook.com/WorldStreams. Our guest tonight is Patricia Volanakis Davis. Patricia wrote the award-winning book Harlot Sauce, a memoir of food, family, love, loss, and Greece, with the hope that it would encourage young women not to make the same mistakes that she made. Adelphi University adopted it as a reader for its gender studies program. As founder and editor-in-chief of the nonpartisan Harlot Sauce Radio e-magazine and podcast, Patricia loves encouraging new writers and interviewing other Renaissance people, and she's recently been named one of the top 25 mentors for young women and girls 2010 by the Hot Mamas Project. Hi there, Saeed. Hello and welcome, Patricia. It's an honor to have you with us tonight.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
Hello, Dari. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And good evening to you, Patricia Volanakis Davis. Thank you for being with us tonight. The first question that comes to mind is the title of the book. Where did you get the idea?
Well, the Harlot Sauce is an Italian spaghetti sauce. It's a southern Italian spaghetti sauce. It's salsa puttanesca, and it literally means sauce of the harlot. It was invented by prostitutes in Naples many years ago who needed something that they could prepare quickly and something that could be really good but not cost a lot of money, because obviously prostitutes are poor. So they made something delicious out of limited choices, which is, I think, the theme of the book. But also the interesting thing about that sauce is that it's the sauce that my grandmother used to make, and it's the sauce that my Greek husband, who he just didn't like that sauce. It's almost a character in the story, so I thought the name was perfect.
So you wrote about it in your book, about your grandma actually making the most perfect sauce.
Well, it was perfect for us anyway. It's all a matter of taste. And what was interesting about the culture, the Greek culture and the Italian culture, which is, I'm familiar with both cultures,
right.
Is that their food was almost like a statement, like a political statement or a cultural statement. Our food is better, therefore our culture is better. That spaghetti sauce is not the spaghetti sauce my mother makes, therefore it's not the good spaghetti sauce. And every culture has this, everyone. It doesn't matter where you're from. There's always somebody who, is going to tell you that their food is better than any other kind of food. And it really becomes a symbol of the xenophobia, I guess, if you want to call it such a strong word, that I talk about in the book.
Yeah. So what inspired the book was very much the travels, very much the story behind it, that takes you on the other side of the Atlantic into an island in Greece, one of the islands. This is what inspired the Harlot Sauce, right?
That was part of it, yes. And we went to the island of Rhodes, is where my ex-husband is from. It's a really, really beautiful island. And a little bit of trivia: it's where Prince Charles and Princess Diana went for their honeymoon. So, it tells you how beautiful it is, because obviously they could have gone anywhere. It's an absolutely fabulous island. It's got a beautiful castle, one of the best restored castles in that part of the world, from the Knights of St. John. And that was where the first part of the book takes place, but the second part is actually in a seaport in Athens, in Glyfada, which is outside of Athens, like the suburbs of Athens. That's where I lived with my Greek husband and my son. So it's 2 parts of Greece.
Okay, well, the first part before that came, you fell in love with very much with somebody who's from Greece, and then you decided to move over there. Tell us about the circumstances of everybody falls in love one way or the other. But when it comes to considering moving to a different country, how was it for you and your Italian family?
Well, my family, my mother was born in the United States, and my father was born in Sicily. So he'd already done this. You know, he'd already immigrated from.
Yes.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, like the rest of us, like me. I've done something like that. So
sure. He'd already done it. So I don't think they really, apart from that, I'm sure they would have preferred it if we could have stayed closer. I don't think that they weren't going to discourage it, because obviously to discourage something like that would to be denying what they themselves did, or what my grandparents did and stuff. In fact, my father gave me a really good advice, which I still use it to this day. He said, if you're going to go there, you have to make the best of it. You can't expect it to be like the United States, and you can't be crying if it's not like the United States, because it's a very big move, and you have to adjust to the differences. You have to look at the positive sides of it, and I thought it was very good advice.
Now, as far as age was concerned, what age bracket were you when you decided to do that? I know it's always very hard to ask this question, but still, understanding based on the on your age and based on your writings, subsequent writings about youth and so forth, that, in my opinion, would be important. How old?
That's fine. I mentioned it in the book, actually. I was 39 when we moved, and I moved for the wrong reasons. The move itself, I don't think it was a bad move. The reasons why I moved were probably not very good. I moved because I really thought that this would save my marriage, and I made the mistake of doing that without really, thinking it through in terms of what would happen if it didn't work out. Because when we left for Greece, our relationship was not in a very good state. So I was really taking a big risk in some ways.
Like every good Catholic person, making the marriage work was very important. What conclusions did you make based on that? Was it really always a good thing to do, save the marriage, or in terms of your advice to young people now?
Well, my advice would be, in hindsight, my advice would be careful who you marry first. Don't, right. I have to emphasize that it is not because he was Greek and I was Italian American that our marriage failed. Because I have a friend who, in fact, she's also written about in the book. She was from England, from Newcastle, northern England, and she married a Greek, and they've been happily married for years and years. It's going close to 40 years now. So I think it was just a bad choice because of the way I chose him and the reasons I chose him. They were all wrong. And there was no way that marriage could have worked out, no matter where